Hi YouTubers, it's Freebie here with Freebie's Ways. Today we're going to show you a short video on how to replace your wire rope on your winch with a synthetic rope. And today we're working on a CF MOTO 600 Touring, and we'll show you some quick details, what we're replacing with, what we're going to do, process. So we picked up this Badland 50-foot 3/16" rope and fair lead set. Got this from Harbor Freight for about 35 bucks, something like that. And some of the tools we're going to use is a hex. This is a number 5 or 3/16" works also. And this is the rope we're going to be using, synthetic with the hook. It comes with a fair lead, but we're going to be keeping our rollers on this because I don't want to braid this rope any more than it needs to be. Nominal use should last a good while, give us good service. So first of all, we're going to be taking these bolts or screws out to remove this panel to get to the winch to do what we need to do. So with that said, let's get started. Now with those out, we can just remove this right here, and we have access to our winch. So we're going to pull all of that out, make sure everything's clean and good, and we'll start the process of putting it back on. So with that said, on this side, on the CF MOTO, you can freewheel it by turning clockwise. Then you should be able to freewheel. Now if you notice, as that's coming out, see all the dirt? When you go four-wheeling in mud, it all gets up in there. So, if you'll notice, a lot of kink, abrasions, and this has not been used very often, okay? So it helps to pull this out after every time that you ride. Just pull it out, clean it, wash it, and roll it up correctly for the next ride. Okay? So now that we've got that pulled out, we're going to find out where the attachment is, release it, and do the next part. Now, just for ease of convenience, we're going to take this off so you can get your hand in there a little better. Have a little bit more room to work with, and you can see a little more. And there we are. And there it looks like our little hex screw holding our cable in. So let's see if we can get that off. And that's a 13mm on these bolts here that I just removed. Now we've moved it down to where we can get easy access, and with your hex it's a 3 on this, and so we'll just remove this, and that is what's holding the cable in place. And when we go back, we'll get this one out, and we'll show you how we get the new synthetic in. See how difficult this is going to be. Nothing to it. Now while I'm here, you'll notice there's a lot of buildup of dirt and stuff. We're going to just clean that up a little bit with a little wire brush or a little sandpaper or something. and it should be nothing to it. Now this came with a heat shrink on it already to collapse it, so hopefully it'll slide up in the hole without too much problem. But it is what it is, and we're going to see. Okay, on this particular winch came on the CF MOTO. We had to heat shrink this end. We had to trim it down a little bit and reheat shrink it because the particular hole in this one was a little bit too small. But we've got it in now, and we're going to reset the set screw and start rolling it in. Okay, now that we have everything in position, we'll go ahead and reset the set screw. And get this bad boy locked in. Make sure it's good and snug. And that should do it right there. Now, we'll put the fair lead back on here in a moment. I'm going to snip off that excess end. Put the fair lead back on, and we'll start putting it back together. Now we have everything secure. We're going to clean this up just a little bit before we put our fair lead back on. Make sure everything's nice and snug. Cleaned up slightly. It's a four-wheeler, man. Hey. Now on our fair lead, if you'll notice, our bolt is running towards the ground, nuts at the bottom. Now these are the nylon tip nuts. They should not come out. But if for some reason something happened, they got knocked off, broke off, something happened, your bolt's not going to come out and you're going to lose your roller, okay? Because the bolt will stay in due to gravity. So you want to keep your bolts facing the ground. That way you shouldn't have any problems. On there securely now. Now comes the fun part. We're just gonna start rolling her up. The important part here is to get your good 6 or 8 rolls on it. Get it set evenly. And then we'll put the pressure on it to get it to seat. So we'll get that started in just a moment. Okay, we have everything secure. And now we're just gonna start rolling it in. We wanna try to keep it untwisted. You want to just keep it unbound. Just a smooth process all the way over. You get one good round on it. Now that we do that, this has a protective sleeve that came with it, and we're going to add that. As you can see, this black protective sleeve, the reason I didn't do it on the first runs is I wanted it really seated on there good. Now we're going to put this on there and continue until it runs out. All the way across until it runs out. Okay, we're out here hooked to a bad lawyer. Like I said, you can use your ex-wife. Doesn't really matter. A truck, just something that'll put tension on it. Need at least 50 pounds. And we're just gonna crank up the engine and winch her on in. Just keeping it nice and smooth. Do this till you get all the way down. Back and forth. All right, now that we have everything on, good and snug, you never want to run this all the way in too hard, okay? Puts a little pressure on your winch. But we're just going to put our front cover back on, button it back up, and then go hit the trails. You can watch more of this on Freebie's Ways. I have some videos of places we've been. And if you like this, please subscribe, hit the like button, share. And I hope this helps you. You can leave comments. It's not that bad of a chore. The only problem that we had running into this was the end of the cable was a little big for the hole, like I said. And we just had to trim it down and make it fit. Where there's a will, there's a way. And that's how you do that. Like I said, hit that subscribe button, like, share, and go USA. From Freebie's Ways, I'm Freebie. Thanks for watching. Hope this helped. Now, people go, what's better, cable or rope? Well, they both serve the same purpose. But if you'll notice right here, see that kink? You see that? That's what happens with the cable. And then there are little frays on it that will stab you if you're guiding it back into place. And the good thing about rope is if for some reason it does break, you can tie it back together. I don't know if you can see the frays right there by my finger. There's some other parts on here. And like I say, I have not used this very often, but it doesn't take much to fray it, if you see right there. So, I mean, I can still use this, but I'm going with the synthetic. Good thing about this is I'm keeping it for a backup just in case I need it. Now, just one other thing. If you notice, I'm wearing this bright orange. We were riding one time in the woods, and it was thick woods, and a lady came up to us and told us, "Thank you for wearing bright clothes. We could actually see you." I see a lot of people wearing camouflage, dark clothes. When you're on the trails, and especially when it's congested, wear something bright. It'll help you. And especially if something happens in an accident, or if you fall off or get hurt, whatever, bright helps people see you. Just a safety thing.